Hey, what's up you guys? It's Emily. Hey, what's up you guys? It's Emily. Hey, what's up you guys? It's Emily. Okay, so a lot of you guys may remember a while ago, it was my first video I put out on this channel of me talking about what I went through with my mom and everything last year with that being like the worst year of my life. So September is National Suicide Prevention Month, and I thought it was really fitting to talk about this in this video because I am wearing one of my new favorite brands. It's To Write Love on Our Arms. It's a non-profit organization that pretty much puts all of its proceeds to helping people get the help they need and getting people in recovery who need to get in recovery and people who need to get inpatient who need to get inpatient. Like, I mean, it's just an amazing, amazing organization, and I was really glad I found it. And so definitely I'll link them down below. Go buy some of their stuff. It is amazing, and honestly, it hits really home to me, as many of you guys know if you've watched my first video. Which, if you haven't watched my first video, which is kind of like a prequel to this, I'll link it down below. Definitely watch it. It'll make more sense if you watch it before you watch this video. Okay. So at the end of my first video, where I talked about the worst year of my life, I said I would talk about what happened to me later on, because I talked a lot about what happened during the situation, but I didn't really talk about the aftermath of it all. And the aftermath of it all went on for literally a year. Like, I'm still getting over it. You know what I mean? So I wanted to, for this week's video, because I haven't uploaded for the past 2 weeks because I've been in a lull, and I've been in like a creative lull too. I didn't know what to post, and I didn't really feel motivated because I felt like I kind of lost why I was, like, it sounds so stupid, but I lost why I was doing YouTube, because I do it because I like it. I do it because it's what makes me happy, but I let, you know, some people just convince me that I was dumb. And so I was like, you're right. But that lasted for like 2 weeks, and I was like, no, I felt the hole in my life that I was using with YouTube. YouTube is literally, dude, it's the most amazing thing. I get to come home. I don't even, and that's just it. People don't get it. Like, yes, I want my content to be good, but at the end of the day, I make the videos for me, and I hope you enjoy them, getting to know me and see me through the videos. But I mean, having people watch it is just a bonus. The actual fun part about it is I'm putting myself out there on the internet. Literally the crazy, raw Emily that my close friends get to see, or even some people don't get to see. I'm putting it out on the internet. So it's really fun. Anyway, so that was I'm really bad about tangents. So it's been 2 weeks, and I've been really kind of postponing making this video because I really don't want to make it. Well, I do want to make it, but it's just it's a hard thing to talk about and just own up to and talk about all your mental problems. So I thought, since it was Suicide Prevention Month, it would actually work really well. And then I just so happened to be wearing the shirt today, and I was like, you know what, like, this is a sign. Like, today's the day I need to make this video. So without further ado, here is the aftermath / recovery of everything that happened last year. So after my mom got out the last time, I mean, I didn't talk to her for like 3 months. I tried, but every time I went to see her after that, I'd have really bad panic attacks, and it's because I'm panicking that she's going to go off and do something. I'm afraid that I'm going to say the wrong thing, and she's just going to go into another room and try to kill herself again. And it was really bad, and I had just started counseling at the time. This was August of 2017. I just started counseling, and, you know, I told my counselor, I said, I just don't think I can be around her. She gives, like, I always thought I knew what panic attacks were, but I've never known what panic attacks were until then, because I legit would go into full-blown panic attacks. Like, my chest's tight, I can't breathe, I'm having, what are they called? Racing thoughts, yes. I'm having racing thoughts, and I can't focus, because all I'm thinking on is, what is she going to do? What is she going to do? The worst is going to happen. I need to think about, like, we need to get ready. Like, you know, I'm going into war mode, pretty much. So I had to take some time and I couldn't see my mom. And it was hard for me because she's my mom. Like, she's the major role of my life. I love my mom to bits and pieces. I still do to this day. She may not believe it, but I do. And, you know, it just really put me in a weird place. I wasn't on meds at the time, so I got put on antidepressants. At this time, Roger, I believe that's what I called him in my last video. Roger, my ex-boyfriend, we were still together. And we were still together for quite a bit after my mom. We were still together for quite a while after my mom got out of the hospital. By the time I went to go get on antidepressants, like, the damage had just been done to our relationship. I was having terrible anger. I was upset with my life. I was upset with where I was going. I didn't want to talk about anything because talking about it made it real. And when I talked about it, I cried. And Roger would definitely attest to that. I cried all the freaking time. He would bring it up, or he'd say, do you want to talk about it? And I'd be like, okay. And I'd talk about it and I'd bawl. And I was having really bad PTSD. I wasn't sleeping well. I was avoiding sleeping because of my dreams being so vivid and just reliving everything. It was just bad. I was a terrible girlfriend at the time. I treated him terribly. Terribly and understandably so, but still not an excuse. I was really shitty to him. And I put a lot of my anger and frustration onto Roger. And so I would, from about August to November, I would try to talk to my mom intermittently. But every time I talk to her or go see her, I'd get kicked out of her house. I'd get told, you know, that I'm a bitch and that I'm not worth it, or that she doesn't have time for this. I don't even care about her anymore. Just pretty much she was a broken record. Broken record of reminding me of all these things that I was. She was a broken record pretty much reminding me of all these horrible things she thought I was, and that I started to kind of believe I was. She told me I was cold-hearted, that I would never find true love. I deserved a man like my father, which I do, for the record, deserve a man like my father. But when she says it, it's an insult. She's saying I deserve this scumbag. And just pretty much telling me how she can't believe I turned my back on her. All because I refuse to shut out my dad. That's what the whole thing is. I refuse to shut him out. So November comes. Things are getting kind of rough with Roger and I. I'm not talking to my mom at all. Roger's even like encouraged me to block her on Facebook and pretty much everywhere. Block her. Just cut her out of my life for right now. And I was like, you know what, you're right. Which is actually what has worked out best for me. It sounds harsh, but I've had to cut her out. Because if she's not cut out, then when she's not cut out, I go to a place I shouldn't go to make her feel better. I become the daughter who allows her mother to sit there and verbally assault her and abuse her, so that way her mother feels okay. And her mother understands that I'm always there for her. But I can't do that. I did that for too long. And I couldn't do it anymore. Well, things were rough between Roger and I. And so Roger and I ended up breaking up. And that, the best way to describe it is, you see a lake and there's a crack in it, okay? The ice can withstand a certain amount of weight. But once you put too much weight on the ice, it's going to shatter. And that's what happened. Roger broke up with me. And it felt like every good thing I had in 2017 just went out the window. My parents got divorced. My dog died. And now my boyfriend, who I was dead set that we were going to get married. He was the one. He was the one. Just said he didn't love me anymore. And he told me I was too much like my mother. And that still haunts me to this day. When he broke up with me, he was angry. Well, I don't know if he was really angry. We're going to go with that. He was angry and upset with me. And so I think he said some things he doesn't mean. He could have meant that. I don't know. But I, will never forget being told you're too much like your mother. And, he's just gone through this all with me. So he knows I really don't want to be a lot like my mom. So he breaks up with me. And I just go full-blown meltdown. I'm sobbing. I go into, and it's not like a sob. It's like a screaming sob. It's bad. And so I have my sister and her boyfriend drive me over to my dad's house. I go and I talk to my dad, and I'm sitting there bawling, telling him how he was my person. There's nothing good in my life anymore. What am I supposed to do? So my dad calms me down. I go home. I go to sleep. I get up. I go to work, and I'm just numb. I don't feel anything at this point. I'm just a numb. I want to call myself a fucking pillowcase. I'm just numb. We'll just leave it at that. I'm just numb. I'm walking around doing things that people are supposed to do, but I'm not actually feeling them. I'm acting as though, that's probably the best way to describe it. I was an actress in my own life, but I wasn't in my life. I don't know if that makes any sense. It's hard to describe how this all was because it's something a lot of people don't feel, or if you feel I hope anyone who's been through this, I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. You just don't feel like you're you. You're outside of it's an outer body experience. You feel like you're watching your life go by, but you're not actually living your life. That's probably the best way to explain it. So I do my day-to-day routine. I stopped eating. I didn't eat for a solid 4 days. And I lived off of coffee and water. That was it. I got the shakes so terribly bad. And the breakup was messy to a degree. It was messy, but it was messy. But the last time we actually saw each other, Roger and I saw each other, ended well. It's just been the times that we've tried to talk to each other, not in person, that haven't gone well. So for me, I say it ended well. We're gonna go with that. It ended well. It ended decently. It ended as well as a breakup could end. In my situation. So, oh my God! You are about to turn 1 and you think you're a king. Ugh. So oh my God. So I go on living my life, not really feeling anything. Finally I eat, because my dad pretty much tells me he's gonna force feed me. He made me eat. So we go on family vacation to Colorado. And I'm there for kid you not even a day, dude. And I'm feeling like crap, okay? Roger at the time had not blocked me on Instagram. See, this story, it sounds so petty. And this story probably makes no sense, but it makes sense to me. It sounds so petty how all this went down. Cat, stop! You know what you're doing, you crazy. But to me, it makes sense. So, Roger blocked me on all social media. Which makes sense after a breakup. He blocked me because it's hard to see me, and ditto, vice versa. It's hard to see him. But that, it made me feel worthless. And I realized I have a problem with that. I have a problem with being rejected. When I get rejected or feel like I'm less than, it sends me to a really bad place. And that's what I felt. So I was like, that's it, I'm done. I'm going home. I want to go home. I don't want to be here anymore. I want to drive back tomorrow morning and just be at home. And mentally what I was thinking was, if I want to go into a psych ward, I want to go into a psych ward at home. I want to go into a psych ward in my home in my hometown where my family is. So I told my grandma that night, bawling, that I was going home. I said I wanted to go home. I didn't want to be here anymore. It just was just too much. So the next morning, my grandma's crying. I'm packing up my car, and she calls my dad, freaking out. And so my grandma tells me to come and talk to my dad before I go on the road. And I'm like, okay. Keep in mind, all I have not in my car are my dogs. That's it. It's just me and my dogs. I was ready to go. And my dad tells me that he doesn't trust me to make it home to him. And that I need to go to the emergency room and I need to talk to them. Because, of course, while I was there, not really that my antidepressants were really working, but I forgot my Prozac while I was there. And so, yeah, I just wasn't sleeping well. It was a mess. So my grandma takes me to the ER in Pagosa Springs, Colorado. Phenomenal facility. I go and I talk to them. I talked to a psychiatrist for literally 2 hours, telling him about how I was ready to jump off of a freaking balcony. I was ready. I didn't want to live anymore. And it was one of those, I don't want to live, but I also don't want to die. I just want all this sad and hurt feelings that I'm having to be gone. And so he got me started on some meds, and it got me home, and I felt fine. And the meds were working really, really well. Until about late April, I started feeling myself kind of going back to that numb place. I was really missing my mom, but I knew I couldn't see my mom because I had continued to try to see her, but the encounters just were not going well. And so I was at work, and at my job, I work at the hospital, and at my job, we sit with suicide patients. And it had never thought to, it always kind of thought to me after everything that happened with my mom, maybe this wasn't the best thing for me to be doing at my job for my PTSD and everything, but I toughed it out. Well, then I got a young kid, and just hearing their story, it reminded me a lot of mine. And I literally remember over half of my shift, I was texting my dad and my grandma, telling them I was not feeling well, that I was feeling really blue, really depressed, and that, I was crying out for help, but I wasn't saying, help, this is getting really bad. And I remember all day thinking, you gotta kill yourself. You can't follow through for anything in your life, so you should at least follow through for this. This is it. You're gonna go home, and you're gonna take all your pills, and you're just gonna be done. You're gonna be done. You're gonna go to sleep, and you'll be done, and the next person you'll see is your Grandma Bev. And so I went home, and I took a shower. I take a shower every time I'm upset. It calms me down. I don't know why. It does. So I take a shower. I FaceTime my grandma. I talk to my sister. And I continue to have the facade of I'm fine. I'm cool. We're good. I'm acting normal. But I wasn't. And so I went into my kitchen. I grabbed all my pills. I counted them all out exactly. And I took them all, with my sister literally right across the hall. And to put in perspective how much I took a full bottle of Vistaril, which is an anti-anxiety med, half a bottle of Seroquel, which is a sleeping med, and then pretty much a full bottle of Prozac, which is an antidepressant. And I just started pacing. It was one of those, okay, I watched this video of these people who tried to kill themselves by jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge. And this guy described it perfectly. The moment you let go of the rails, you immediately think, what have I done? And that's exactly how I felt. I started pacing and freaking out because I realized, like, what I had done. I work in the medical field, so I know those meds mixed together, like, I definitely did some severe damage. And so not even 5 minutes go by and I go in and I tell my sister that I did something stupid and she needed to take me to the ER. And that I just wanted to die. And I wanted to die, but I didn't want to die. And I just needed her help. So she drove me to the ER. This is May. Cinco de Mayo, to be exact. I go and I have to drink charcoal. Yummy. Yeah. Had literally just black mouth. It was bad. And my whole family came. And I cannot tell you how incredibly bad I felt. I just did the number one thing I got so pissed at my mom for doing. But I did it to them. The people who didn't see it coming. So obviously I'm still here. It didn't work. I'm good. But I did get sent up to the psych ward for 5 days. When I was up there, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about coping mechanisms and definitely vocalizing my feelings, which is what I wasn't doing. I felt like a burden. I always feel like a burden when I talk about my problems with my mom and how it makes me feel. And I'm just now getting to the point in my life where I feel fine. Where I feel like I miss my mom and I would love to have her in it, but it's not the end of the world because it's my life. And to this day, I still, when I see my mom, it's a terrible trigger. I have full-blown panic attacks. I go through extremely low lows, and yeah, I'm still working on it, but after trying to take my own life, it's the worst way to get a wake-up call, but I got a wake-up call, and that was that I don't want to die. I want to live to see my grandbabies. I want to live to see my kids grow old and find the loves of their lives. And I want to be happy. And I realize, like, the choice to be happy is on me. The chemicals in my brain, that's not on me. But I can help it by taking my meds. And I just kind of realized, like, it's my life. And I want to live it. I don't want to die. I don't want to die anymore. I should have this song be I should have that song be the background. Oh, I love that song. But anyway, so this video was nice and heavy. Oh, I should show you this. So whenever I was in the psych ward, I just kept thinking, well, it's actually a phrase I always tell my suicide patients. I always tell them, I say, it's a bad day, not a bad life. So I don't want to see you back here. I want to see you living your life. And it was something I always said, but I never took to heart myself. And so, I had my dad write it, and he actually designed my tattoo, and I got it tattooed on me. So anyway, I know this video is nice and heavy. What everyone wants to have on a lovely Monday. But I wanted to post something, and I don't know, I just felt like if I didn't make this video now, I would never do it. Or I would really procrastinate it. Anyway, I'll be back with some more fun, cool videos. I'm still trying to figure out what the heck I did wrong with that video with my grandma. So that's still being edited and kind of in the process. So anyway, thank you for watching this video. Thank you for listening to me. And if you are going through a hard time or you need someone, seriously, let me know. Comment down below. Reach out to me on any of my social media handles. That will be linked down below. And just remember, you know, life is, oh, this is going to sound so cheesy, but life is worth a living. Life is worth living. And it really is only a bad day. It's not a bad life. Anyway, love you guys. Peace. You keep on